Alright, what's going on everybody? It's x.jonaz 101 here, and today I am back with something a little bit different. It is Rainbow Six still, but this will be a tips and tricks video. I chose 5 categories that I think are the most important things that I should talk about for newcomers. I had a couple friends say that they were really trying to get into Siege, and I thought that I could make a video to help them, and maybe make a video to help others. So if this video helps you, please drop a like. It helps me a lot, lets me know that I'm helping others and motivating. I will say that there is a big learning curve in the beginning. When I was first playing, I was getting, destroyed the whole time. I was getting just straight pissed, and I wanted to quit, but I just persevere through that, and I swear this game is a lot of fun, and I've heard that from so many people. Is my opinion as well, obviously, and I think that's the case, really, because if you can get past that learning curve, this game is so rewarding. And because of that competitive aspect, when you're not finding yourself getting destroyed by people that are 3 years into the game, when you have a little bit of the knowledge and of the tips that I'm going to talk about today and the categories, when you know all that stuff, it makes it a lot better. So hopefully this will help you, and yeah, let's just get into the tips. Here's number 1. Alright, so here's how this video is going to go. I'm going to give the tips. I say that with quotations because in reality they are tips, but they're really just areas to focus on. There's only really one extra tip that I put in here on things that you can physically not know and then know after this video, but this video hits on things that you will that you should be focusing on. Like the first one that we come to is operator knowledge. Operator knowledge, along with map knowledge, is 2 of the biggest things in this game. 2 of the biggest things, if not the biggest things. And there are things that it's not like you're going to watch this video and then be like, boom, I know the maps. No, they both come naturally, and not at the same time, but they both come naturally, So with map knowledge comes a lot of different aspects. One of the main ones is, I think, callouts. You need to be able to know the rooms that you're calling out to so that your teammates, can know exactly where they are. That's the first one for me, at least. Another one that's going to come naturally is the cams. You're going to be getting used to shooting them in the same places, obviously, and then you're going to know that they're there. It's just going to become muscle memory at that point. I see so many times these new players that I'm playing with, they don't know where the cams are, and they eventually get them killed, and I don't know, that's just something that is really essential to the game. When you're attacking, you need to take out those cams. That's just the the one rule. Another thing that we're going to get into is breakable walls. You need to be able to know which ones you can breach, which ones you have to breach with a heavy breacher, and which ones you can't breach at all. And it really helps for defending when the breakable walls too. Say you're playing with Cav, and those impact nades, those are meant for her to be able to throw it at a wall and move through rooms quickly. That is her, she's a kill. That is what she is meant for, is to get kills, to be roaming the whole time, and that's why she has those nades, so that she can flow through rooms. Something for attacking that people need to look out for as well are the spawn peaks. A lot of times that people, and even myself, I know almost all of the spawn peaks. Every now and again I get caught by one where I'm like, oh my god, like that's a new one, I haven't seen it, but usually they're ones that I've already seen, and I know that they're there. I just don't like, playing game after game after game after game, and they're not there, and then boom, like someone decides to do it. It just happens randomly. So there's no preventing that, but you can kind of prevent it if you can have that in your mind at all times. Me personally, I seem to not be able to, but everybody's different. Also, what comes with the breakable walls is the breakable floors. So many times, say defending, I like to be pulse, be a scumbag, and pulse them out from the bottom and throw a nitro cell up there, get them. Or say I'm attacking, I like to sludge from above, get them from up top. It's so easy like that, and it's so rewarding when you actually do things like that and they work out. To me, that's so rewarding, and that's one of the biggest things like I love about Siege, and that's why people continue to play it, I think. The last thing I want to hit on is the compass. I think that it's a small aspect but a lot of people don't utilize it, I don't think. And if you can go into the map and just automatically know which way is north, then you're good. That's all you got to worry about. Just try to do that, and then you will never have to look at the compass. And I mean, it's hard to get to that point, I think, but with dedication you can definitely get to that point, and it's worth it in the end. Alright, so that brings us to our next one, which will be operator knowledge. This one is up there with map knowledge. Map knowledge sits a little bit higher for me because I feel like the maps are what messes people up the most. I feel like you can jump in, grab an operator, and you know, sort of go from there easier than just jumping into the map and learning that. But there's a few different aspects of it. The first one we're going to talk about is guns and attachments. You need to know that each operator has their own set of guns, while each special forces team, I guess, have their own sets of guns, you know, and all the attachments are the same mostly. They usually have, you know, 4 different scopes, 2 grips, you know, stuff like that. Some are a little bit different here and there, but they're mostly the same, mostly. You need to know which one works for you. Attacking, obviously, that ACOG is the thing for me, at least. Like, I need that ACOG when I attack, except for when I am really rushing in there and trying to get close, I'll use a reflex, which is the same for defending. I always use a reflex on defending because I feel like for quick peeking, it is, you know, way easier with that, and also I think that it's just way faster than to having the big bulky holographic. I used to use the holographic, and that little dot in the center really does help as opposed to the triangle, but that bulkiness is just what did it for me. When I switched to reflex, I figured out, you know, that is the one. And I have not went back since. I mean, I still use holographic on some guns, but for the most part, it is usually all reflex. You need to know which operators are roaming and which ones are anchoring. You know, there are many operators that are played, you know, vice versa. Say Ella, in my eyes, she needs to be a roamer, but I know people who play her as an anchor, which is fine. I personally believe that she is a roamer. She's meant to be a roamer, but, you know, no harm, no foul. And when we look at the other side of the spectrum, I think that Echo, I mean, people roam with Echo. I think that he is meant to be an anchor, whereas another 3 armor would be Doc. I see people roaming with him, and that is fine. Like, I feel like Doc, well, not really Doc so much. I think Rook should be roaming because you've already set down your stuff in the beginning. Doc needs to be there to heal people, but, you know, roaming with Doc has become like this thing recently. Not recently, but in the past like year, it's become this thing to roam with Doc. Like, it's even become a meme, like the roaming Doc. Excuse me, I meant Rook. And then this brings us to their gadgets as well. You need to know what their function is and what their true function is, because sometimes the way that these operators are played is very different from how, you know, Ubisoft, you know, thought they should be played. Like Ashe, for example, I think that she is meant to be in there, to get in there quick, take out a couple people by surprise, and, you know, by all means stay alive, but at least before she dies, take out like 2 people. And I feel like that sets, you know, the motion of the whole round into play when that happens. That's my personal opinion of how I think Ashe should be played. Some other people don't play her as quick, and that's fine. It works for them. For me, I need to be quick with her. And the last part of this is also the essential operators. The essential operators, that means, you know, Thatcher, either Hibana, Thermite, you know, either a heavy breacher, obviously, Bandit for defending, stuff like that, you know, Mute for defending, stuff, you know, a preventer of drones and a preventer of breaching. You see, you need to know those things. You need to know how they are really supposed to be played. Like, say, Bandit trick people now. You know, it's not now, it's been happening for a while, like for a long time, but that's obviously wasn't a thing when the game first came out. People adapt, people learn how these operators are supposed to be played, or better and efficient ways to play them, and you will see that, you know, naturally you will see that, but you can come up with those ideas on your own as well, you know. Let me get into an example of a very essential operator, or more in depth, because I already stated his name. His name is Thatcher. He, to me, in my own personal opinion, he is very boring, but he is one of the most important operators in ranked play. One of the most important. He can take out so much stuff. To me, his guns are just so boring and lackluster. So I am very, very happy that somebody else plays him when I play ranked. If it comes down to it, obviously I will play him. I have no problem playing any operator, but I will not have as fun a time, obviously, as I will, you know, obviously being Ashe, jumping in there, rushing in for the kills. I like to play aggressive like that. Thatcher is not that aggressive, you know. He's meant to help out the heavy breacher, really, and, you know, that's that. Alright, so for the other 3 topics, they are going to be a little bit shorter, but I think they are all equally important. The first one is good teammates, and that goes way beyond just skill. See, good teammates, you have to have good chemistry with these teammates. You can't be putting each other down all the time. You see that's just like a recipe for disaster if you guys are just hating on each other throughout the entire match. I swear, like, I mean, some people, I guess it all depends on the friends, but I feel like if you need to choose people that you have good chemistry with and you can flow through these matches with and, get these wins. Now for the skill part of that, you do need obviously like skillful teammates. So choose wisely in that aspect when you're choosing, try to balance out, the good chemistry and the good, the skill of the player that you're trying to play with. And also good communication is key. In ranked, when you're getting into those really tight matches and those really tight spots in those matches, you have to be able to have good communication and call outs, and that goes back to map knowledge and whatnot. Alright, so the next one I want to get into is a very important, area, and that is equipment. You have to have good equipment. Like, I mean, obviously you can play without having a headset, but you're going to be at a major disadvantage because mostly everybody else has a headset, so that's the norm, The norm is to have a headset, especially for a game like this, because there's so many different sound cues. You have to be able to know which is which. You have to be able to differentiate, know the direction they're coming from, and, be able to call out. You need to be able to hear that very quickly and efficiently, which a good headset very well does, compared to speakers from a TV. Alright, speaking of TVs, that gets us into another part of this area, and you gotta have a good, PC. I, for one, have, I think is it a 24-inch? I think 24.5-inch TV. I don't know what the standard, Pro League TV is. I think it's 27, or it could be 24. I'm not sure, but you want something around there. Obviously, you would think that bigger is better, but in my opinion, having a smaller screen where you don't actually have to turn your head to look at anything is way better. And you can be like, for me, I'm a gamer that has to be in it. Like, I can't be like all slouched back and leaning back, and I can't do it. I got to be up and focused, like, in it. So you have to have that good TV. So the last tip that I have for you guys will be good maneuverability. Good maneuverability goes with a lot of things, which I am about to talk about, one of them being sensitivity, which is the most important one. You will see people playing mouse and keyboard in this game, which is unfortunate. I feel like that kills console, but, to each their own. If you feel like you want to play with that, then you go right ahead. I personally like the controller. If I were to play PC, obviously I'd be on the keyboard, and that's where I think the keyboard and mouse should be. But I'm fine with running into those people either way, because it makes for a fun game when I can actually come on top of a mouse and keyboard player, and that's just very rewarding. But the sensitivity is something that you have to get down, because no matter what, you will see people playing with high sensitivity, whether it be a mouse and keyboard or a controller. There's going to be people playing with high sensitivity, and that is something that you just have to adapt to. I feel like everything goes back to map knowledge, because the maneuverability can go hand in hand with that. You have to know the breakable walls to be able to flow through these walls quickly, to get those, nasty little clips, those flicks and everything like that. Speed and precision is obviously, one of those things that goes with maneuverability, and you have to be able to be precise and speed. You cannot really slow peek once you get up to those higher, those higher levels in ranked, because, in Plat 1 or 2, people are quick peeking like every shot, I swear. I mean, there's obviously some slow peekers, and slow peeking is acceptable at times. Just know that time, and know the time when you should be quick peeking. One thing that has helped me with maneuverability is playing Claw. Basically, Claw is something that was started, I think, in Halo 2, maybe? I'm not sure, but it was a way to, adapt and an easier way to press the, A, B, X, Y buttons in Halo. Now they have Scuff, which is basically, now they have paddles and Scuff and the Elite controllers, and all that does is basically give you the advantage that you have with Claw without playing Claw. So, I have no reason to get a Scuff controller, but if you have one, there's no reason to try to play Claw. If you don't have a Scuff controller, try playing Claw. It's just put your index finger on the Y button, and you go from there. You use your index finger to press all of those buttons. It took me a while to get down, but I've been using this technique for about like 8 years now, 8 to 10, possibly even longer. But yeah, I definitely recommend giving that a try, and I think that pretty much wraps up this, good maneuverability tip. Alright guys, that's going to be it for the tips and tricks. Like I said, this was really just meant for beginners, but you know, if some seasoned players learn something, that's just like an added bonus, I guess. If you liked the video and you learned something, please drop a like, or if you just want to support me, if you're already seasoned enough and didn't really learn anything, but you still like the video and you just want to support me, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. It is always appreciated. But until next time, peace guys.